Right now, a black car stopped at the side of the helicopter. A guard came to open the car door. Out of the car came an old man dressed in street clothes. It is the owner of Deng. It's one of the great forces of the blizzard, the present day to the Lord. That way, goddess power is also in a hurry. You came here in person. To keep your head up. He looked at the child he most valued, laughing. This action is very important to you, and for the whole Deng family, so I'm here specifically to ask you a few questions. Let God speak with confidence, don't worry. We have confidence. Within 3 hours we'll destroy these bandits. I can't help but sigh, you just can't. I have some questions you should listen to. Deng's face couldn't help but be more serious. Speak up, I will remember it in my heart. To make you smile. But the tone went down again. Never look down on the werewolves. That suspicious person. You never fought with them. I don't know how crazy they are. They can be for so-called trust. To sacrifice their lives. Even though I hate those people. But I have to admit, they're scary. So this battle, you have to be very careful. Eyes to spread a wild ray of light. As long as you destroy the organization, in this battle, then your reputation will be famous throughout the Jiangnam area, even all over the world. Only then will our Deng family have a place. Deng's face was still full of confidence, but the eyes became much more fixed. He slowly nods his head. Tell Deng Yuan, don't worry. This battle, I'm sure we will win spectacularly. If you want to smile, that's good. The Lord will wait for news of your victory. Let me announce goodbye to you. And turned and walked toward the armed helicopter. Maybe there's a hunch. He looked at another helicopter in the distance and saw Zhang Yi leaning against the window. Look this way. Smile with a smile. There are no complicated thoughts in my heart. After all, the business of the warm boys she invited the moat. So far, it has nothing to do with him. He only needs to do 2 things. The first is to keep yourself safe. Salary approvals and reconciliation. The second is to destroy the lunar organization. Let the magic shine a bright smile. And get in the helicopter. Liu's cold voice echoed by the ear. Expand translation. What are you thinking? Hoa Hoa also raised her head to open her eyes to look at Trong Yi. Zhang Yi returned to the corner of his mouth with a smile. Nothing, I'm just thinking. Leader of the Halloween moon. How strong is his power? What Zhang Yi said is also true. After having seen some pictures of Daiku engine, he had a basic assessment about the power of the lunar organization. The power of such an organization. It's in the middle of the investigation team. Who determines the strength of an organization? Forever the strongest. There's a hunch. That guy must be extremely dangerous. He even thought that. If this mission doesn't kill him, the campaign will not be considered a success. Chen Zizhao heard that without any concern. That kind of thing. Just let the angel squad handle it. Wiggle your index finger on the glass. As someone who has experienced, tell me about Trong Duck. Hey, the most important thing is to know your own abilities. These outsiders, even if you can claim to be king in your own land. But in the end, it's not comparable to the regular army. But it also has its advantages. The greater the capacity, the greater the responsibility. We just need to help the Angel Company. Lead the enemy. Time is good. Smiling more. He nodded. You're right. I think so too. At the Combat Command Center, Master Zhu was sitting in front of the big screen. All the surveillance equipment that people carry around, they all recorded the image in front of them, and it's all caught in his eye. Next to Commander Chu, Minister of War of Valor. New CDLAN secretaries are all ready. Soldiers can be deployed at any time, depending on the course of the battlefield. We now depart for Jiangnin City. A command from God himself. 2 armed helicopters take off. 2 armed helicopters flying out front and back, towards Jiangnin City. Chu looked at the time. The other side can also act when ordered. In Jiangnin City. It's past midnight, near dawn. But the entire membership of the Lunar Organization, still not sleeping. They've just cleared an area. Are sweeping the battlefield. This is a small organization in Jiangnin Square. 10 men were killed. Halloween Indifferent ask. Has it all been cleaned up? Jinguji say, Isiro, standing behind her. He took off his golden glasses. A little impatient to say, those who resisted were all killed. At this time, the Mayumi King asked Kai to follow him. Hoen exclaimed unconsciously. She slowly raised her head and looked up at the sky. The dangerous people are coming. Lazy look on the face of Halloween. Disappear immediately. Others also according to Mayumi's voice. Looking at the sky, Howie said. The crisis comes from heaven, right? I know. Surely those guys are in the Jiangnan area. Not content. They're going to attack us again. Jingu, only 1 hour. Your impatient face is too annoying. We will not be destroyed this time. Halloween laughed for sure. The corners of her mouth cracked a frantic and cruel smile. Of course not. They're the ones who will die. Armed helicopters gliding through the night sky. The hard shell is covered in a layer of frozen snow. It doesn't affect the speed of flight. It's just in an environment like this. Their ability to fly was also challenged. It can only be used for flights. A short distance like this. After more than 10 minutes, and everyone flew from the blizzard into the Jiangnin City. When they arrived in Jiangnin City, through the snowflakes that covered the window, vaguely seeing the warm yellow light. It's lit on the ground. Chapter poking his head out. Yeah, what's that? A brushed fire party. At the same time, the vague rumbling also came from the ear. Everyone heard this thunder-like noise. Couldn't get close to the window to see. When they look closely, they are horrified. Sea of fire in the sky. Jiangnin City Center area. Jiangnin Square. It's now turned into a giant sea of fire. The expression in my heart was a little surprising. What situation is this? At this moment, Chu's voice boomed. At the right time through the communication device. Have you seen the explosion at Ning's teeth? No need to be surprised. This is the first step in our plan. First used long-range bombers to bombard the entire Jiangnin Square. After this bombing, there will be nowhere to hide. In Nintooth Square, again. Even if you can't kill some werewolves. Is the moon, at least we can force them to show up. Expand translation. Immediately think of the bombers. He saw it at the airport. I suddenly understood in my heart. They have a special type of equipment. It can intercept satellite communications within VI 5 kilometers. But the blizzard has a solution. First, just blow up the whole square. Every problem stems from a lack of firepower. If it wasn't for the difficult transportation, maybe Zhu sent someone to come. A few hundred guns will first level the entire Nin-Tooth square. Nine Yang watched the fire explode below, gripping hands excited. It's much easier to act on. Fortunately, blow them all up. But surely the next dance calmly reminded. This is the best. Don't have so many distant illusions. If those guys are that easy to kill, it doesn't take us that long to prepare. New here. Nine Yang took a deep breath. I know you don't need to mention this. Peng Lai and Trong Yi were chained close to a window to observe. See the sea of fire below. You can't help but ask the fire that burns on such a large scale. Unless they're familiar with the terrain, find a hiding place in the ground. Otherwise, it's very difficult to survive. The police officer did not answer this question immediately. He asked if you had heard of napalm. The glass blinked for an hour. You've never heard of this. What is it? Zhang Yi pointed to the sea of fire below. Simply put, it's a firebomb. It doesn't have the destructive power of a bomb, but can cause widespread burning. Even the total, you can't really use the whole thing. To bomb within VI radius of 5 kilometers. So the most used weapon is still napalm. The goal is to consume oxygen and destroying resources, like food in Jiangnin Square. Force the moon to go out, to fight with us. Smile, Yang. I don't believe these guys will be easy. Let the fire consume them, especially in weather like this. Doubtful glasses blink. Then he turned his eyes to Chen. Chen Zhao nodded. He was right. But next, it's much easier for us to find the enemy. At least they wouldn't have been ambushed before. Fall into a disadvantageous situation. Have to fight on the streets. While talking, the armed helicopters stopped 10 kilometers from Jiangnin Square. It's not clear what the mutant's ability is. You have to keep a certain distance. Then we landed. Avoid landing and be destroyed. After the fire burns, it's a drone, gliding through the sky of Jiangnin Square. At the bottom of the drone, it's a spherical device, emitting these monstrous rays of light. An invisible electric current, in a split second, glide through the entire Jiangnin Square. The operational command center. A staff member reporting to Zhu and Vin. We've cut off contact in the area of Jiangnin Square. They can't use communication devices to communicate. I can't ask for help outside. Chu nodded very well. Let them first become headless FLIs, and then they beat them one by one. First, cut off all enemy communications. But the communications equipment of the Jiangnan area, not affected. You can be active from the beginning in this battle. After the helicopter landed, in the captain's headphones, orders from the headquarters. Trong Yat team, you guys from the southeast into the square area. Team 10, Oriental, you come from the west into the square. Double fish dance, from the north into the square. Remember, your job is to attract fire and extend the time for the lunar team. If there is a fight, the first task is to keep yourself safe. It's not an active attack. Zhang Yi and the other two captains calmly said. Clearly received. He took it out of the hyperspace. 2 guns, 6 silver white. This is white pepper forged by 6 possibilities for him. Each gun can hold 20 silver bullets. He stepped to open the plane door. Turn around and talk to your paycheck, and let's go. Wage approval without hesitation. Follow Zhang Yi. Peng and Chen Zhao looked at each other. Both are very nervous right now. But this tension bring back a little excitement. Dangers and benefits go hand in hand. As long as they can successfully complete the task, this time the harvest will be huge. You two are encouraging each other. And then march with Trong Yi. On the helmet, Zhang's strategy. There's a place and a way into the square, marked for him by the general department. So he doesn't have to worry about getting lost here. He can also see the path of the other 2 teams. A formation team, a way forward. There's a reason to do that. Through the method of determining points, you can determine the location of the enemy. Because within a 5-kilometer radius, the detection efficiency of the satellite, the enemy used technical means to stop them. Next here, can only rely on manual methods and speculation. Find the location of the enemy. The enemy must capture the king first. Kill or capture Hawin alive. That's the most important task this time. 3 teams start in turn. Not far away, another armed helicopter also slowly descended. There's a whole team of angels on it. See the 3 city teams outside. Go to Jiangnin Square. Eyes to the magic to bring the look of interest. 8-90 this time, there is no way back. But if they can persevere, wait until we support you. It proves that they are indeed talented. Until then, at least we can catch them. Join the silent legion of the blizzard. Even completed excellently. You can also join the investigation team. The magic of course refers to Zhang Yi. Since we first met in the blizzard, the Magi were very impressed. I want to get into the angel team. The wise god laughed softly. Let me see. What power can you use this time? Come down with everyone. Armed helicopter. The department has no further instructions. The translation understands that, follow instructions. Maybe we'll have to wait until the members of the lunar organization showed up. The sea of fire in front of him gradually extinguished. In the end, the power of napalm can't last too long. And the temperature is extremely low at midnight, below -67 to 10 degrees. Enough for this fire to quickly disappear. Just now, no one knows the position of the member of the lunar organization. Muttered the translation. I hope you're not so unlucky to run into a key member of them. If so, we only have one way to get out of the way. He can't be alone against the whole lunar organization. The movement is not in a hurry. Carefully stand in place. Watch the whole scene in front of you. Jiangnin Square has been burned down into a pile of rubble, desolate. She asked Hoa Hoa, sitting on Hoa Hoa's shoulder. Do you smell the breath of the living? The flower rolled her eyes and stared at the rubble in front of her. He sniffed a few, finally unable to shake his head. It's because of the SAO fire. The flowers meow for a few hours. I agree with Zhang's words. After the big fire consumed the complex, pungent smell, it's hard to distinguish between the breath of the living. Tran Pepper and Peng Lai, go to. Captain, what do we do next? Take a moment to make a decision. Just wait for them to get here. Chen Zhao Zhao and Peng Li looked helplessly at Trong Yi. Chen Zi Zhao could not help but say, "Are we here to round them up?" "It's not that they rounded us up." "That's right. Just stand here and wait. Does that make sense?" But Zhang Yi didn't care. They start to carefully observe their surroundings. He thought to himself, "He's good at long-range attack, not melee. Once you're in close combat, as Ying Jin or Nobunaga raid, it may also be dangerous for him. Hazard capacity about 0.01%. It can't be prevented. He's got to understand the environment here. Then choose a safe location. Waiting for the rabbit to shoot. Use of torpedoes in conjunction with ammunition initiators. The scope of his shot could completely cover the entire Yangtze Square. Nin within VI 5 kilometers. Chen Zhao Pepper could not help but call out impatient voice, "Captain." They just checked the surrounding environment. Just answered them. Don't forget, their ability to gather 10 pieces of intelligence. Extremely strong. Maybe now they know where we are. And is directing the generals to deal with us. Then, I'm not familiar with this area. They have the advantage of going first. So we're going to get static. He looked around for a while. He then located his ambush. A commercial building that was burnt to the ground. He turned around and ordered everyone. "We'll ambush on the roof. Your job is to keep me safe. When you're nearby." End of words. I didn't wait for Chen and Peng to answer. Immediately opened the door to space. "You are in charge of protecting me. Keep this off the table." Two people with flowers enter the door of space. The next moment appeared on the roof of the building. There's only one ceiling left. Pepper and Peng, standing in the white snow, staring at each other. Why did he leave us here? Why did he leave us here? I can't believe the captain's face. There's no responsibility. You're so pissed off. Tran to Pepper stood up eyebrows. One side carefully observed the four sides. One side said he was very clear. The relationship between us is only temporary. So from the beginning, he wasn't going to pay attention to our thoughts. Only thing now. Everyone's on a dangerous battlefield. His way of doing things is a little childish. The glass size, so we have to do SAO now. Chen Zhao Zhao told him to do what he said. Suddenly leaving the group. On the contrary, it will increase our danger. You two have no choice. They chose to hide around the building. Let's wait for the autopsy team to find them. It's their conversation. Actually, the operational command center could hear a clear. Folded arms. Can't help but sigh. This pig is too cowardly. But he's really smart. This is a way of testing the enemy's capabilities. Everybody knows. Practice Moon organization. It has the ability to collect 10 pieces of intelligence. Strong. But what does this power actually mean? No one knows. You choose to be cowardly, outside VI Jiang Nin Square, not actively attacking. If the enemy, they can still find their location clearly. This can be basically confirmed. The enemy's ability is terrifying. Just like the prediction. Chu's eyes turned to the two Kai. Other suburban teams. So what are the other two teams doing? Party-vu 10 directions and track. They are also very careful when moving forward. This time, the AI also knows that it is extremely dangerous. I don't dare to be careless. Dance 10 with everyone. Also reached the intended location. People on the other team, they soon decided on a combat plan. It's not AI, it's the same as Zhang. Absolute confidence in your own strength. They need to plan their operations in groups to make sure there are no errors. Nin in the Tenwei cheer team stepped out. His eyes stare at the vast wreckage ahead. And then you bend over. He was wearing a thick military uniform. Even the hands are open wide. Bucket seal. But when he put his right hand on the snow, everyone around you can see clearly. His sleeves are fluttering nervously. Light condensed in the palm of the hand. And then there's the gray rodent, out of the palm of his hand. Nin Central Desert, who has the power of the ejection system, called the Soul Beast. It's able to transform the metamorphosis into different animals. These animals are like his clones. You can share 5 with him. She looked at him in the eye. We're using animals to investigate. It's very convenient, of course. But even if it is, he is also the leader of a power. Capacity. Certainly not there is simply such an investigation. He must have strong fighting ability. When people are curious, in the palm of his hand, the little beast spills out like gray water, constantly crawling out. In just 10 short seconds, more than 100 have appeared. They're standing in the snow. Turn your head and look at the grave. In his eyes flashed a light like a human. The quiet voice of Nin. Let's go find them. The animals are squealing. Then rushed into the burned-out square. Very quickly, they disappeared. And on the African team, they don't have the same investigation. But there's an expert general investigating. Jen has been an investigator for 7 years, so he's in charge of the front. Carefully search for the whereabouts of the lunar organization. At a corner of Jiangnin Square, 13 members of the lunar team gathered here. Even though there's dust around, black dust plumes the whole space as on man. They're not messy. It's like before that bombardment happened. They soon found a way out. 12 people in a circle. In the middle is Jinguji's middle-aged uncle. He's habitual to push the yellow glasses on the bridge of the nose. Slowly take your hands out of your pockets. 2 thin, elongated index fingers slowly raised. Fingers flashed a little yellow light Kim. His eyes suddenly became extraordinarily sharp. T has to swing fast in the air. And at the same time, he's muttering a spell. Spirit soldiers fight chicken spikes polio money. This is the pink suspect. Yellow light needle condensed in the air. It doesn't melt quickly, it cools. Form a 5-pointed star golden giant. In the Jinguji pupil, yellow light flickering needle. His right finger points to the sky. The golden 5-pointed star suddenly broke. Turned into little spells. Like a rainstorm filled the middle stitch. A few minutes later, took Jinguji's position as the center. A swirling stream of fog, start LAN radiating around. Within a few short minutes, the entire square is covered. 3 teams immediately discovered the anomaly and report to the Combat Command Center. Fog detection of unknown cause. Very large coverage range. Maybe the moon has already moved. Zhu immediately told everyone to be careful. In case of people, the skill of lunar eclipse taking advantage of fog attack. But we don't need him to tell us. Self-etching suburban pseudo-abilities. You will also be careful. I must have said coldly. This ability intelligence doesn't mention. In the first battle, of course. They still have a lot of tricks. Old soldier, just Yang come voice. It's just a distraction. There is no ability to attack. On another team, the corner of the mouth of the Ning Emperor made a small smile. The fog can obscure people's vision, but it can't obscure the vision of the animal soul. Rather than now, this battlefield, it is even more beneficial for us to develop our abilities. On this side, Zhang Yi, he's got a gun on the roof of a building, at the edge of Jiangnin Square, with absolutely no intention of moving forward, waiting for the enemy to come automatically. But in the heart, he was sure that the enemy would come. In the moment, all three investigative teams have the right to act autonomously. The situation ahead is unclear. They didn't order them to work. This is the battlefield. Unexpected improvisation is the most important. Chu chose the way. I believe in these suburban mutants. He thought silently. Let's see if you can break through first.